Okay, so after Billy graduated, '07, right?
Yeah.
You stayed one more year. What made you stop then?
Weighing 350, can't see. I needed 2 cornea transplants. I just got a knee replacement that year. Other health problems I needed to take care of. And, after 30 some years of coaching baseball, basketball, and giving everything I had to the basketball program, I figured, I always thought maybe I'd die coaching. And looking back, sometimes I wish I had stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I could have taken better care of myself after that, because I kind of hit the wall. After I got my 2 corneas, so some of the referees that maybe I complained to, maybe they were right.
Mm.
But, I was awful close to some of that video,
Right.
and I could see good. And maybe sometimes I was right too.
Yeah. Okay.
No, and that was the other thing, Lynn. I tell you what, I know I was kind of hard on the officials, and I wish I would have been a little bit better, but I had to be me.
Right.
I tried to be like my father-in-law, calm, collected, not say too much to anybody else except player. I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do that. Right. And I apologize to all those referees. I think most of them understood me. Most of them. Not all.
Right.
But, that's the way it goes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you took some years off, and then suddenly, maybe 2011, 2012, you end up coaching at Middletown a little bit.
Tough decision.
So,
tough decision.
Yeah. Tell us why
tough.
there? And,
let me tell you. I bleed blue. Well, I bleed red, white, and black too, because that was Taft colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a Taft Tiger. When I went in the Hall of Fame in Hamilton, I brought my Tiger paws, a Taft Tiger paw. Even though I could see that, of course I was leading scorer then, 20, but I went in because I won the state.
Right.
That was the main reason. But not because I was a player whenever our coach did something. I went in because we won the state, because of you guys. And Josh Andrews had been the head coach at Princeton and had taken the team to state. Josh had played point guard, came from Fairfield after his sophomore year, played 2 years with me, and he was the team that went to the district for the first time. Mm-hmm. And we won the district. Yeah. And Josh, great coach, great person, good Christian. And he must have asked me, I don't know how many times, I said, I can't do that. I just can't do that. And finally, he came to me, and I think the wife said, why don't you do it? I said, no, I'm not going to coach at Middletown. They were my rival.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather beat Middletown than anyone. The middies and the games were, to me, legend. And so many great players through those years. But finally I said, I'm going to tell you right now. Because, there's a couple of Middletown guys that I had their kid. Ernie was a Middletown guy. And he had heard this. They don't listen to their coach. They don't do this. They don't do that. They don't come around and practice at times. And I told Josh, I'm going to tell you right now, Josh, if these things are true, and these guys don't show up to practice, and they don't want to be coached, I'm going to jump ship quickly, because I'm not going to be a part of that. I had two good at Hamilton. Well, guess what? They were just like the Hamilton guys. Mm-hmm. They were just like you guys. They wanted to win. They wanted to be coached. Giovanni, he told me back about a year or so ago. He said, Coach, I'm the all-time leading player in Miami's history at Miami. I've played more minutes than started more than anybody else. He said, you know what, Coach? You're the reason. I said, I'm the reason. He said, because you taught me defense. Mm-hmm. No, the other guys knew how to play defense. They didn't know what outside was. They didn't know how to cover that. They didn't know the fine parts of defense.
Right.
And those kids were great, and they were great to coach. We used to have guys missing practice. Now, Jalen Marshall, he was Superman. I've never been around an athlete like E.J. Underwood came pretty close. E.J. was pretty good at. I mean, I was pretty fortunate. I mean, if E.J. doesn't break his hand, I think we win the state that year. We had a heck of a team that year, but injuries caused us. But at the same time, Josh talked me into it. 2 or 3 weeks into the season, I finally convinced him, let me have the kids for like 45 minutes. Let's go defense. And we did. We started reversing the ball a few times. You get the other defense to lateral transition, and they break down after a while. Instead of you try to poke them with the first poke, it doesn't work. We had that rule when you were. I don't think we ever fed the post on the first pass, unless the guy was wide open on a fast break or something.
Right. Yeah.
Then we reversed the ball. Then we did our stuff. You know what? We were talking about that one of the plays your junior year. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when we called Tiger and all the way through, and Lampley's going to be open in the corner?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of options.
Yep.
We had to go through a lot of things. And guess what? Who was open?
It's open in the corner, yeah.
And guess who hit it? Guess who hit it?
With a 3, yeah.
With a 3.
Sure did. Okay. All right, so you spent a few years out there, and then I guess...
I spent 1 year.
Oh, 1 year?
Only 1 year.
Okay.
Because as soon as I had that purple shirt on, I'd walk into the car, I'd rip it off and throw it in the trunk. And you know what? Those Middletown people are good people.
Okay.
They were really good to me. The old time. I even had Jerry Lucas said, "Why don't you come on back the second year?" I said, "You know what? I'm not going to."
Right.
I mean, we should have won the state that year. We should have.
Right.
And Fairfield had a good game and had a good game plan against us. And we made some mistakes. That's the way it goes. And then, of course, I'm sure you're going to get to a few years later, Lumpkin was the assistant principal. They changed coaches. They wanted him to coach. And he said, "Would you coach with me?" I said, "Lump, I don't know." He says, "My wife wants to know why you always beat us. I want to figure out why you always beat us." Well, let me tell you why we always beat us. Because you guys were coachable.
Right. Oh.
And you did what you're supposed to, and you played as a team. And Lump was a great guy, great coach, great person, does a lot for the Wynwoods. He only did it 2 years. And he's the AD, but I think they're going to, he's a legend. I played with his brother at Miami, Phil.
Okay. And
I love talking to Dave. He's great. Well, I mean, we from the time we get together until the time we leave, we laugh. So it was a good experience. We were young, and I only did it 1 year because one reason. I got run rule. And someone said, "What's run rule?" We went to Cuff Cap. I'm looking up, and it's 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the ball's rolling way out of bounds, and the clock's still running. I said, "Look, the clock's not stopped." He said, "Larry, when you're down more than 25, they keep the clock running." I said, "Never again."
Okay, so you did that for 1 year, you said?
1 year.
Okay, so then you basically retired.
I've stepped to the side.
When you stopped that, were there any years or a couple instances where you might have saw a job and like, oh, maybe?
Oh, I had people ask me, "You want to coach with me?" But never at Hamilton.
Right.
No one after I coached, no one ever asked me to coach at Hamilton. Except Jesse. I coached 1 year with girls basketball. And that was her last year. And I think to this day, I would love to help Hamilton. But, if you're not wanted, that's fine with me. I respect that. I think Kevin's a really good coach. And I think they got a barn burner this year. And I think he's the type of coach who can really coach them up. They got some really good. If he can get a couple of kids, that's where I think I had an advantage. Because if I had a problem, I could bring somebody in to communicate with somebody,
Right.
and that would be helpful. If I didn't have somebody, a teacher or administrator or a community member, come in and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Say, get your act together.
Okay.